we are still in the midst of the worst pandemic since the Spanish flu. What are the concerns? What are you worried about? And what can, absolutely ensure India stays on the growth path, or what can derail that?
Strictly from the government's point of view, we are clear that we will stand by with the economy for the coming out of the crisis. The stimulus will continue as long as the growth path is sustainably achieved, and the hand-holding of some sectors, because they have to come out and they will have to after that flourish, and therefore the hand-holding which has been extended will all continue. The biggest challenge I would face is having already committed to a certain expansion in public expenditure in infrastructure building, because that's a good end goal to achieve, but the process will have its own virtuous cycle which can help in generation of new jobs. So the path we've taken is very, sustainably stimulus triggering, and we shall keep going on that path. However, the challenge that I face, and I think the teams which are in the ministry are also watching the way in which the fuel prices are leading to a big question. The transition from fossil fuel to renewable is not complete yet. It's not even there as much as we would want it to be. There are no alternative affordable fuel sources yet. So that process is very much just beginning to happen. We may have set targets, we may have achieved targets, but still that requires a lot more funding, looking at our own resources. The world might come up with its pool of resource for everybody to use, but we are not even waiting for that, we are moving in that trajectory. But even as we are doing all this, if the prices of crude are going up, and the speculation, which is as informed speculation, if I have to believe, is that not till the end of, let's say, this financial year, which for us is March 2022, the prices are more likely to go upwards rather than come down till then. And maybe after that they can be coming down. But this uncertainty is a big element for me, which is still an imponderable, and I do not know what it will mean, and how much will have to be diverted from other most important considerations. And that's the challenge I see.
How is India preparing? How is your ministry preparing, should there be one?
The ministry prepared for itself when it allotted about 35,000 crores in the budget for vaccination.
Okay.
Now, as a result of it, and also due to the very efficient way in which the institutions under the Ministry of Health, down to the level of the panchayats, which is the lowest elected rung in a democratic three-tier system, they have gone about so meticulously in getting the vaccination out there to everybody, and both awareness was being built simultaneously to remove from the minds of the people any hesitancy. As a result, we are probably somewhere at 977 million, going to touch 1 billion doses being given as vaccinations by the end of sometime this week, I would think. And achieving a 1 billion vaccination dose is not a mean achievement. In fact, in the IMF and World Bank and many of the bilaterals, that is something which people have readily voiced, saying appreciation to India for having achieved this. And I'm not saying this with a tone of pride or arrogance, but we have humbly taken upon ourselves that people should be vaccinated for the economy to be coming out and for people's lives to be protected. And because we went through that belief, and you should have just seen some pictures of the paramedical workers going to some of the far-flung areas, and this is monsoon in India, They're going through flooded river, brooks, wild brooks, holding huge ropes and taking the vaccines on their shoulder to reach the villages, to give them the vaccination and come back through the same route and return to safer places. They've climbed absolutely snow-clad peaks, high levels of 14,000, 15,000 feet, to reach some of the Himalayan habitations which are not more than 25 houses, 30 houses, but yet there are small settlements. People have climbed hills to reach them.
So what is the biggest lesson India learned from the second wave that happened? I mean, I know there was not as much vaccination then, but what was the biggest lesson as far as the economy is concerned, as far as the nation is concerned?
The one thing which probably helped, strictly from the point of view of economy, is in the first wave, when we didn't have a vaccination, when we didn't even produce the PPE kits that are so required, when nobody knew the animal as to what is this virus. We had come up with the decision to lock the entire economy down, strictly contain everybody back in their homes and not to come out. That obviously pushed down the economy. We went down minus 23 in our growth. GDP went down. Now when the second wave came, because we had other strengths by which time we had built them up, your testing labs were far more, you had the vaccination come, you also knew how to trace and track people, keep them and medically handle them better. So in spite of the intensity and the speed with which the second wave set in, we only chose to go through a localized lockdown. We didn't arrest the entire activity completely. That, I think, helped purely, I'm talking about the economic, not on the medical side of things. That helped the economy to come back on its feet quickly. And of course, the pandemic itself, the second wave itself, receded as quickly as it came.